Rolle's theorem. So what Rolle's theorem says, just we recall it. Later we will go to Lagrange's mean value theorem. See, according to Rolle's theorem, if I have a function f, it must satisfy three conditions, which are nothing but f should be continuous in closed interval AB. Next, f derivable, nothing but differentiable in open AB, and f of A should be equal to f of B. So if it satisfies all the three conditions, then there exists a real number C, which is nothing but f dash of C is equal to 0. This is what we discussed in a previous class, nothing but Rolle's theorem. So now we move on to Lagrange's theorem. With the help of Rolle's theorem, see what Lagrange's theorem says. So according to Lagrange's theorem, we have a function f. If it satisfies nothing but the first condition, f is a continuous in AB closed and f is differentiable in AB open, then we won't go for third condition directly with the help of the two conditions. So we say that there exists a real number C which gives a result f dash of C is equal to f of B minus f of A by B minus A. So this gives a statement of Lagrange's mean value theorem. So according to Lagrange's mean value theorem, what we got? If I have a function f, if it is continuous and it is differentiable in a given intervals, continuous in closed AB, differentiable in open AB, then there exists a real number C. Now we are discussing about the Lagrange's theorem, not Rolle's theorem. With the help of Rolle's, so next condition. See, in Rolle's theorem, we got f of A equal to f of B. If this condition fails, see previously we discussed in limits also, whenever we are not able to define something, so we search a ways how to define those particular things where it is defined like that. So in the same way, so always we cannot find f of A equal to f of B. So what happens if f of A is not equal to f of B, or f of A is greater than f of B, or f of B is greater than f of A? Such conditions leads to Lagrange's mean value theorem. So according to Lagrange's mean value theorem, it must satisfy the first two conditions, which are nothing but f should be continuous in closed AB and f differentiable in open AB. Then there exists a real number C which satisfies f dash of C is equal to f of B minus f of A by B minus A. So what about its converse? Converse. What do you mean by converse? From back to front means if there is a real number C which lies in AB open, for that particular C, if I get f dash of C equal to f of B minus f of A by B minus A, it doesn't mean that it satisfies always the function f is continuous in closed AB and f differentiable in open AB. So converse may not exist. That's nothing but the relation in terms of converse. And now we see we discuss this particular concept with the help of graphical representation, nothing but geometrical representation. So I have our Rolle's theorem. So next I will to compare this Rolle's theorem with the Lagrange's theorem. Yeah, in previous case, Rolle's theorem. So I have taken one graphical representation. I considered a point A as well as B where f of A and f of B are equal. See, maintain same length, right? Then there exists a point where we have drawn a tangent which is parallel to the axis x. So according to Rolle's theorem, what it says? There exists a point on the curve where we can draw a tangent to the curve which is parallel to x-axis. That's nothing but at a point C you consider. So we have drawn a tangent at C. So if I take a point P, we get C comma f of C as that point. Now we move on to Lagrange's theorem. What Lagrange's theorem says? X and y axis, right? So I have a curve like this. Now I want to consider this f of A is equal to f of B. So on x-axis I consider 2 points. One is A, another one is B. Now its respective y coordinate. What is its respective y coordinate? I have a function f of x and I have a x coordinate A. So y coordinate is nothing but f of A. So according to that, I get y coordinate as f of A, and the point A is A comma f of A. Next, I consider one more point B. Its respect to x coordinate as B. Then what about its y coordinate? F of B. So and the coordinates of B is given by B comma f of B. So the function f of x is defined in closed interval A comma B. These A as well as B acts as end points of the curve. What this do acts? This A as well as B acts as end points of the curve. If I join the 2 points, I call that particular line segment as a chord of the given curve. So I have taken 2 points, means nothing but end points, and I joined, I got a chord. So according to Lagrange's theorem, there exists a tangent to the given curve which is parallel to the chord. There exists a tangent to the given curve at a particular point in between AB, which is parallel to the chord AB. So now this point I have to find. At this point, let its x coordinate be C. Then what is its y coordinate? F of C. So at point C comma f of C, there exists a tangent which is parallel to the chord AB. And how we got the chord AB? By joining end points of the curve. So why I am calling those as end points? See, f of x is defined in closed interval AB. The first point is A. This starting value is A. Its respective y coordinate I consider. That's what I mentioned it as the beginning, means in a left side end point. And this one B, for me right side end point. Okay. So now how I get the statement which is nothing but f dash of C equal to f of B minus f of A by B minus A. See, I have 2 points. I can find the slope of the given line. So how to find slope of the line? Y coordinate difference by x coordinate difference. So y2 minus y1, f of B minus f of A by x2 minus x1, B minus A. This is nothing but slope. So how we indicate slope? Derivative of the given function. In previous class we discussed slope of a tangent is nothing but derivative of the given function at any point, right? See, f of B minus f of A by B minus A represents slope of the line AB, and I want to find slope of a tangent which is parallel to this tangent to the curve and which is parallel to the chord. Slope of the tangent, just now we recall, no? Slope of the tangent is nothing but derivative of the function at point C. See, I get the derivative which is nothing but dy by dx, f dash of x, right? F dash of x gives slope of tangent drawn to the curve at any point. See, if I take the point as C, that slope is nothing but equal to, at point C, the slope is nothing but equal to f dash of C. Now you see this one, the tangent is parallel to AB. So these two lines are parallel to each other. So if the two lines are parallel to each other, their slopes are equal. According to the first condition, I got the slope of AB as f of b minus f of a by b minus a. Next, slope of the tangent at point C as f dash of c. So as these two are parallel to each other, we can say f dash of c is equal to f of b minus f of a by b minus a. There may exist more than one point which we call this at least one real number c. At least one real number c represents there may exist more than one. Right? How they exist? So if I have a curve like this, and this is the point end point B, and this is the beginning, means left side end point A. So I joined these 2 points. See, now how many parallel lines, how many parallel tangents to the curve I can draw? How many tangents to the curve which are parallel to AB? So how many I can draw? I can draw here one tangent, and at this point again one more tangent. So here one more tangent here, and next in this particular place also I can draw. So in this particular place also I can draw. So totally I am able to draw here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tangents at C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6. So they have got 6 points. There exist 6 real numbers according to this particular curve. So based on the curve, we get one or more than one point. Okay. Now, what are the applications of this Lagrange's mean value theorem? Applications. So we have learned in functions what is mean by increasing and decreasing functions. What do you mean by increasing and decreasing functions? If I have x1 and x2, condition given that x2 is always greater than x1. So if f of x2 is greater than f of x1, we call it as increasing function. If f of x2 is smaller than f of x1, we call it as decreasing functions. Right? Means if I have a graph, if the value x value increases, so if it is x1, it is x2, the graph of the curve increases. See, for x1 this is the value f of x1, and if I consider any point here, this is f of x2. Suppose x2 here I took no. If it is x2, this is f of x2. This particular value is not this particular point. F of x2, and this is x1. No? F of x1. Some more point if I take c, f of c. See, the value x increasing. With the increasing of value x, the value of y coordinate. See, the particular f of x1 is nothing but the y coordinate. Y coordinate increasing. With the increase in x, there is an increase in y. So those type of functions are called increasing functions. If I have one more graph like this, as x increases, the respective y values decreases, then these type of functions are called decreasing function. That's what I have given as a statement in this particular thing. Right? Y are nothing but f of x2 is nothing but y2, f of x1 is nothing but y1. Right? Now with the help of this Lagrange's mean value theorem, how we say the given function is increasing or decreasing. So I have provided these conditions, right? If f dash of x is greater than 0, if f dash of x is greater than 0 for all values of x which lies in between a comma b, for all values, then the function is said to be increasing function. Same, if f dash of x is less than 0 for all values which are lying in interval AB, then that function is said to be decreasing function. So based on f dash of x, and we are deciding the function whether it is increasing or decreasing. So right, we can prove this one also. So how we can prove? See, I take this graph. If suppose it is increasing, I have considered x1, let it be x2. So as x2 greater than x1, x2 is greater than x1. And what about f of x1 and f of x2? So without taking a graph, without the help of a graph, so how we are going to prove it? How we are going to say f of x2 is more than f of x1? So I got, according to Lagrange's theorem, I have the statement as f dash of c is equal to f of b minus f of a by b minus a. So I considered 2 points which are nothing but x1 and x2, and x2 is greater than x1, which lies in the interval ab. So I replace a and b by x1, x2, and I replace c. For the derivative of the function is always greater than 0 or less than 0. That condition we are going to check now. That's why. So if the function, therefore the function derivative is f dash of x, and the points I consider as x2 and x1, which means f of x2 minus f of x1 by x2 minus x1. If I do cross multiplication, I get x2 minus x1 into f dash of x is equal to f of x2 minus f of x1. Now conditions are this: f dash of x is greater than 0. See, f dash of x greater than 0, so this particular thing will become positive, and x2 minus x1 positive, as we considered x2 is always greater than x1. So positive into positive, positive. So this will be greater than 0. Then definitely f of x2 minus f of x1 should greater than 0. Must be greater than 0. Then what it says? F of x2 is greater than f of x1. So if f of x2 is greater than f of x1, what do we say? The function is increasing function. Now for the second condition, if f dash of x is less than 0, so f dash of x less than 0, then we get it is negative. Negative, this will be positive only. Negative into positive, negative. So f of x2 minus f of x1 becomes a negative value. So f of x2 minus f of x1 is a negative value. So if it is negative, so what we get? F of x2 is smaller than f of x1. If this condition happens, we can say the given function is decreasing function. So with the help of the derivative of the given function, we can able to say the function is whether increasing or decreasing in a given interval. Okay, we move on to the problems. So let me consider a few problems to illustrate this. Go to the example, exercise. F of x is equal to x square minus 4x minus 3 f of x is equal to x square minus 3x x square minus 4x minus 3 defined in interval 1 comma 4. So the question given as, remember the question, it's maximum this question only we discussed. Verify Lagrange's mean value theorem for the following functions. So for this function we are going to verify Lagrange's mean value theorem, as well as find C of the theorem, means the point C where we are going to draw a tangent which is parallel to the chord joining the endpoints of the curve, right? So we need to find the point C. Just C is not a point on the curve, it's just C, x coordinate. Okay, right? X square minus 4x minus 3, this is the polynomial function. We learned in continuous functions properties, polynomial function is always continuous. So the first condition satisfied. What is the first condition? F is continuous. What is the reason? Polynomial function is always continuous. Second one, function differentiable or not. So I have to find its derivative. So I found f dash of x. F dash of x is given as 2x minus 4. Again we got polynomial function. Polynomial function is defined for all real numbers. So it's defined for the interval. Therefore f dash of x existed in interval open 1 comma 4. Therefore we can say that the given function satisfies the two conditions. So it satisfies Lagrange's mean value theorem. So if it satisfies the two conditions, what is going to happen? Nothing but there exists a c in the interval a comma b. There exists a c in the interval a comma b, which satisfies f dash of c equal to f of b minus f of a by b minus c. So let c, there existed a c in interval 1 comma 4 open, which satisfies the Lagrange's theorem f dash of c equal to f of b minus f of a by b minus a. So f dash of c, so in place of x I have to substitute c. So if I substitute c, what I get? 2c minus 4, which is equal to f of b. Find the value f of b. B represents 4. F of 4 is equal to 4 square 16 minus 4 4s are 16. 16 minus 16 minus 3, which is nothing but minus 3. F of a means f of 1. Substitute 1 square 1 minus 4 minus 3. So which is nothing but equal to minus 6. Substitute the two values here. So I get minus 6 f of b, sorry, minus 3 minus of minus 6 by 4 minus 1. Then I get 2c minus 4 is equal to minus 3 plus 6. Minus 3 plus 6 plus 3 by 3 get cancelled once. So 2c equal to 5, c equal to 5. The value of c is nothing but 5. So if I want to find a point on the curve where tangent is parallel to the chord, then what we have to do? The point P is nothing but C comma f of c. The point P is nothing but C comma f of c. Therefore we get the point as C, which is nothing but 5 by 2 comma f of c means f of 5 by 2. So at this particular point, if I draw tangent to the curve, it will be parallel to the chord joining endpoints. Okay, f of 5 by 2. Shall we find f of 5 by 2? Right. F of 5 by 2, 5 by 2 equal to 5 by 2 whole square minus 4 into 5 by 2 minus 3. 25 by 4 minus 20 by 2 is nothing but, I write it as 40 by 4 minus 3, so making denominator same, 12 by 4. So what I get? 5 by 2 whole square minus 4 into 5 by 2 and minus 3. So 3 multiplied by 4, 3 4 is 12, 12 by 4, right? So I get denominator 4, 40 minus 40 minus 4 minus 52. Minus 52 plus 25, what we get? Minus 27. So I get the point as P 5 by 2 comma minus 27 by 4. At this particular point we get what we get? We get the tangent. The tangent drawn to the chord is parallel to the chord, right? Sorry, the tangent drawn to the curve is parallel to the chord. Still, if I want to find the equation of tangent, so how I find the equation of the tangent? Which gives y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1. So I have a slope m. What is it? M f dash of c, nothing but dy by dx. So which is equal to 1. So slope is 1. Y minus y1 is minus 27 by 4, which is equal to 1 into x minus 5/2. If I simplify, I get the equation of tangent also. So this and all they didn't ask. They asked till this point. So we find the point, right? So one more question you take. Question number 2, given as f of x is equal to f of x is equal to x minus 4 into x minus 6 into x minus 8, 4 x minus 6 x minus 8, defined in interval 4 comma 8, right? First condition number 1, whether it is continuous or not. Obviously it is continuous. Reason, the given function is a polynomial function. Next, whether it is differentiable or not, so we have to check. So we check with the help of its derivative, f dash of x. So it is in the form u v w. It is in the form u v w. So what I have to do? u v into w dash plus v w into u dash plus u w into v dash. That's what we have learned in the previous classes. So x minus 4 into x minus 6 into x minus 8 derivative. Derivative of x is 1 minus derivative of 8 is 0. So I get 1 plus x minus 6 into x minus 8. X minus 6 into x minus 8. Derivative of x minus 4, which is nothing but 1 plus x minus 4 into x minus 8. Derivative of x minus 6, which is nothing but 1. See, again if I simplify, again I get a polynomial. So polynomial function is always continuous in real numbers. So we have an interval which is nothing but 4 comma 8. So the given function is differentiable in interval open 4 comma 8. So what I can say, so the function satisfies the first condition, second condition. So according to Lagrange's theorem, it satisfies Lagrange's mean value theorem. So if it satisfies, there exists a real number c in interval 4 comma 8. So let c belongs to 4 comma 8. Means I consider real number c which lies in 4 comma 8. So according to the Lagrange's theorem, what we have f dash of c equal to f of b minus f of a by b minus a. So I find f dash of c first. F dash of c, how I get f dash of c? First I simplify for f dash of c, later I equate these two. Okay, so f dash of c, substitute here, c minus 4 into c minus 6 plus c minus 6 into c minus 8 plus c minus 4 into c minus 8. C minus 6, so I can take c minus 6 common, remaining here c minus 4 and here c minus 8. So both are added. So c plus c, 2c, minus 4 minus 8 minus 12 plus c minus 4 into c minus 8. So simplify now, take 2 common, so I get 2 into c minus 6. If I take 2 common, I get c minus 6 into 2. Okay, now c minus 6 into c minus 6 whole square, so which is nothing but c square minus 6 whole square, no, c square plus 36 minus 2c into 6. So 2 6 are 12, so I write it as 12c plus c square minus 4 minus 8, which is nothing but minus 12c plus minus 4 into minus 8, which is nothing but 32. So I have to simplify this one again. 2 into c square, 2c square plus 2 into 36, 72 minus 2 into 12, 24c plus c square minus 12c plus 32. Now f dash of c is equal to 2c square plus c square 3c square 72 plus 32. So before that we take c's. So minus 24c minus 12c minus 36c plus 72 plus 32 104. So this is what we got for f dash of c, and right side also I find what we have in right side. F of b, f of the value of b is 8. So f of 8 is equal to substitute 8 in that given function. 8 minus 4 4 into 8 minus 6 2 into 8 minus 8 0. So I got f of 8 as 0. F of a 4 minus 4 0. So 0 into something always 0. So f of b minus f of a is substitute as 4. F of b minus f of a 0 minus 0 by something. So we get 0. So f dash of c will be equal to 0. So we have to solve that particular equation. Let me solve that.